our substitution and elimination, and we need to be able to solve these basic equations to help us out. So can I have a volunteer tell me the answer for number 1? Lucas. Negative x plus 2y is correct. Pick somebody. Hemi, what'd you get? How did you do number 2? Because I can't go straight for an answer here. Well, what would I do with that 2, Hemi? What would I do with the 2? Yeah. Distribute it. So you get 2x plus 2y, and then I'll just rewrite the rest of it. Now, Hemi, go ahead and combine your like terms. Good. So you get 2x minus 1y. You have to write the 1. No. Okay, Hemi, pick somebody. Caleb, how do I do number 3? Same process as Hemi. Distribute. What am I distributing now? Ah, very good. A lot of people don't realize, Caleb, but that negative goes with the 2. So when you said negative 2, that's perfectly right. So negative 2x minus 6. Combine your like terms for me. Perfect. Very good. Okay, so that actually helps us whenever we start doing substitution and elimination. So, go ahead and turn in your spiral notebook. And we get to write in our spiral notebook, because we're not graphing, we're going to use algebra to solve systems. So this says we're going to be using algebra. How do you know to solve a system of equations? What did you guys learn back in Algebra 1 to solve a system other than graphing? Raise your hand if you can remember. Bonus point for anybody that can remember. Oh, look at the hands go up now. Okay. Pick a number 1 to 5. Yes. 5.
You lose.
5, okay. 3. Go straight to the middle for some reason. Okay, what do you think? And? Good. Substitution and elimination is correct. Substitution. Now, I say elimination. Some people say combination. It really doesn't matter. I like elimination because I'm eliminating a variable. And most of you actually know how to do these already, because if you had Mr. Ryan, he spent weeks on this. And if you had Mrs. Ennis, I know she spent a few weeks on it. I don't think she spent more than maybe 2. Substitution, elimination, combination. Now, I honestly remember helping Cody last year during homeroom. And he was working on substitution. And in order to do substitution, he had to solve for a letter, and then he had to substitute it. Now, Cody, you may not remember that, but I do. In this class, you'll never have to solve for the letter. You can decide which one you want to use, but there's usually a best choice. That make sense? You can choose the opposite one. It's just maybe harder for you. Now, raise your hand and tell me, when you think of a substitute, what do you think?
Fun.
Think fun? Miss Franceschi will not be fun in this class. I do too. She will always make sure you guys learn them. But what does substitute do? What's fill in, right? Okay, they replace somebody else for a while. So, here's our first problem to copy down. And we're actually going to do it by substitution. So, I told you in this class you could choose whichever one to do, but there's always an easiest one. And I know I said by substitution, and that's done on purpose because it's the easiest one. When you have a letter that is all by itself, it's already solved for, I would always do substitution. It makes it very simple. So what I'm going to do is replace the x over here with the negative 2y plus 2. I'm going to replace it completely. Now, in order to replace it, I'm going to put parentheses around it. So negative 2y plus 2. And I'm going to write the rest of the equation. Plus 4y equals negative 4. So substituting in, I replace the x completely with something else. And at this point, can you solve that for the letter y? Yeah. Okay. And first thing I'm going to need to do is what property? Distribute it. So if I distribute that 3, negative 6y plus 6 plus 4y equals negative 4. What's negative 6y plus 4y? Negative 2y. I'm going to subtract 6. And then I need to divide by negative 2. So I get y equals 5. Did I solve the thing completely?
No.
I only have one letter. I still need which letter? X. So I get to make a choice now. You always should go back to the original 2 equations. And do you want to put y in here, or do you want to put y in the second one? Which one do you think? Does it really matter? I should get the same answer. Why are you guys saying the second one? I actually will completely agree with you. Todd? Yeah, I'm already going to get that x equals. I won't have to divide or anything like that. That's perfect, Todd. Now, if you had me a few years ago, I'd always say, well, that's the lazy way, that's the easy way. I just realized, and it took a while, no, it's not the lazy way, it's the smart way. You thought about it to make yourself less work, right? So negative 10 plus 2, x equals negative 8. Now, just like you did with the graphing, you then write your answer as an ordered pair. Negative 8, comma, 5. And now you have to do one more thing, just like the graphing. You have to check. So, 3 times negative 8 plus 4 times 5 equals negative 4. Negative 24 plus 20 equals negative 4. You guys agree? Oh, no, you gotta check both. You have to check both. That way, in case you made a mistake somewhere, you double check yourself. So now I'm gonna check the other one. X is negative 8 equals negative 2 times 5 plus 2. Negative 2 times 5 is? Plus 2 is? Okay. I'm done and I'm checked. I'm not asking for a long, extensive check. 4 lines probably would be the maximum. I did 2 lines here because it made it a little easier to add together. Show me the check so that I can actually see that you did it up there. Because I'm not a mind reader yet, haven't learned that skill. They asked me to take the class in college, I skipped out on it. But if I ever do take the class, then you get to do another one. Alright. I'd like you guys to go ahead and try this problem by substitution. So up here, all we've done so far is we've substituted the 3x minus 13 in for the y equation over here. Then we went ahead and we distributed our 2, and we combined like terms, and we solved, and we got x equals 3. Raise your hand and tell me what I need to do next. Huh. Okay, I could plug it in there, but remember, Kai, when you told me another equation that was easier? Yeah, I'm going to go with that easier equation you had talked to me about the other problem. 6 minus 13 equals y. Negative 7 equals 1. Raise your hand if you have those two numbers. All right, perfect so far. So now I'm going to write my equation, or my point 2, negative 7. 2, negative 7. And I need to do one final thing, which is check. So I'll check quickly here. 3 times 2 minus 13 equals negative 7. Is that true? 2 times 2 plus 2 times negative 7 equals negative 10. Now I'm going to do a little math here to help myself out. Is that true? Yes. Please, whatever you do, don't be the person that writes down the check and fills it in and then just puts a check mark. Do that mental math that Ty was talking about. You have to do the math right here to make sure it works. You'd be surprised the number of times I get people that have the wrong point, and so if you actually do the math, it's like 57 equals negative 10. And they're like, yeah, that's right. No. So make sure you double check that. All right, so substitution we're going to use in this class when one letter is already solved for. So now, let's do elimination. Now, let me make your life a little easier. Instead of writing both equations on the same line, write one equation, write the other equation right underneath it. 3x minus 2y equals negative 9. So, why should I not use substitution other than it says solve it by elimination? Okay. Okay, why? When should I use substitution? When one of the letters is solved for. Here, none of the letters is solved for, right?
Right.
I could use substitution. I like the easy way, so I'm going to use elimination. Now, if you had Mr. Ryan or you had Mrs. Ennis, they told you about adding or subtracting, right? I always add. I always add in here because I'm better at adding than I am subtracting. So, I'm going to need to multiply this purple equation by a number so that my 3 cancel out. Negative 1. Okay, so if I multiply this by negative 1, this will become what? This will become, and this will become 10. Now, the reason I call this elimination is one of the variables will completely disappear if I did this right. And look, if I add these together, 3 plus negative 3 cancel out, don't they? 5 plus 2 is, and negative 16 plus 9 is negative 7. So what does y equal? Now you do exactly what you did whenever you were doing substitution. You pick whichever equation that you like best and plug it in. Go ahead and plug in negative 1 and find your x. Fraction?
It is.
Yeah. Is that okay to have a fraction?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay to have a fraction. It's perfectly fine to have a fraction. And that's honestly why I showed you this problem also. If I was trying to do this by graphing, you would not try to figure out where that actually meant, negative 11 over 3. You wouldn't be able to find that on the graph perfectly, would you? No. So using elimination, you can find that pretty easily. But now we have to do one final thing, which is
Check.
check. Check. Let's check the first equation. 3 times negative 11 over 3 plus 5 times negative 1 equals negative 16. Can I just put a check mark and say, yeah, I'm done? No, I have to do some math. See how the 3 is on top and the 3 is on bottom? They cancel out. So don't be afraid that you got a fraction. It probably is going to cancel out. So negative 11 minus 5, does that equal negative 16? Yes. Try the other one. 3 times negative 11 over 3 minus 2 times negative 1 equals negative 9. 3's do what again? Cancel out. Negative 11 plus 2. Does that equal negative 9? Okay, then I got the right answer. Oh, I forgot to do something with my answer. What did I forget? To write it as a P. I got the right answer. Now this one was an easy one, right? You multiplied only one equation. Is it possible to multiply 2 equations? Yes. So let's go ahead and try that. Here is your next problem. Go ahead and write it down. And this is what I really like about these problems. You get to pick which variable to eliminate. So I'm going to pick on Lauren. Which one do you want to get rid of? Okay, she wants to get rid of X. 5 and 4, what common number do they have together? 20. So that means you need to multiply the top one by and the bottom one by. Now make sure. If I multiply this by 4, I get negative 20. If I multiply this by 5, I get positive 20. Will they cancel? Yes. Sometimes you need to multiply one of them by a negative to make it cancel. Now, notice how I put the little arrows? I'm just going to write the new equations right over here. So 36x minus 20y equals negative 28. Negative 30x minus plus 20y is equal to 10. Solve that. I'd like you to go ahead and take a minute at this time and solve as far as you possibly can. So I got the point negative 3, negative 4, and now I need to do one final thing. 9 times negative 3 minus 5 times negative 4 equals negative 7. Negative 27 plus 20 equals negative 7. Okay. Negative 6 times negative 3 plus 4 times negative 4 equals 2. 18 minus 16 equals 2. Okay, I got it right. Your quiz on Friday will have graphing, substitution, elimination, and one word problem. The graphing, substitution, and elimination. You should know when you hand it in to me. Susie, here's an A. I got an A. I already checked it. I got 100%. You don't even have to ask, hey, what I get on my quiz? You'll know what you got on your quiz when you hand it in. As long as you check it. Pretty simple, right? Alright, so I'm going to pull out a clean sheet of just regular paper. If you have run out of regular paper, I've got it over here in the corner. Grab yourself a small stack. And tonight's essential work is only 4 problems. Not because they're hard, but because you're going to solve them and check them. If you skip the check, it is an NC in the grade book. It means no credit. So show the check on all 4 of them. I'm only giving you 4 problems.